Hello out there, how's everybody doing? And welcome to the latest installment of The State of Joe. I'm your host, Joe Santiago, and I'm coming to you today from an undisclosed top secret location. Martin Luther King Jr., whose real birth name was Michael King Jr., was an American Baptist minister and an activist, and also a well-known leader during the Civil Rights Movement from 1955 up until his tragic assassination in 1968. He was nonviolent in his resistance of forms of hate and discrimination, and took inspiration from his Christian faith, and was also moved by the activism of Mahatma Gandhi. Martin Luther King Jr. has a well-known quote also that is incredibly relevant right here, right now, today. He said this wonderful, beautiful quote: "On some positions, cowardice asks the question, is it expedient? And then expedience comes along and asks the question, is it politic? Vanity asks the question, is it popular? Conscience asks the question, is it right? There comes a time when one must take the position that is neither safe, nor politic, nor popular, but he must do it because conscience tells him it is right." Close quote. So basically, there's a war on truth right now, and anybody who is doing what I'm doing, podcasting, we all know you have to be careful what you say, because you'll be gone, and they'll find a way to get rid of you and drag your name through the mud and rake you over the coals and tar and feather you and make you an example. And it doesn't matter where it is. It's creeping into the workplace. Like I said, all the tech giants, Google, Facebook, YouTube, everybody is doing it. They are on watch, making sure people aren't saying the wrong things, because if you speak out against the wrong things, boy, whew, you're in some big trouble. And it's not even like physical crimes and stuff. It's just what you say now. What you say is very important in this day and age, and to survive and to protect your reputation, and anything that you're trying to do, you can lose everything overnight just by something you say. So basically with me, since 2016, around 7 years ago, I started speaking the truth more, and believe me, I've paid the price for it. And I'm a strong person when it comes to speaking up for what I believe in, and I think to do that, you have to expect some pushback and some problems. If you can't just go willy-nilly and say, oh, I believe this, that, and the other thing, and not expect repercussions, okay? You're going to get a lot from a lot of people. From friends, there's been times when friends have done what I thought was the wrong thing, and I came down on the other side of friends, and this is people that I've known for years, and I just didn't agree with something, and I went the other way with it. And they expect you to go along. If you're a friend of somebody, you have to have their back and go along with what they say, and like you just supposed to like just say yes, be a yes man, and basically stick up for whatever they stupid things they say. And I'm not going to do that. And I should be able to call you out on something as a friend, and we should be able to move on and carry on from there. It shouldn't be like a big thing where it like makes everything uncomfortable and tense and everything, and full of problems, and tension and stuff. Now, that's with friends, and it works with family members too. Things you say, things you call them out on, the way they run their lives, and if you call them on something and like they just get real defensive, they don't want to hear it, they don't want to hear the truth. You can't handle the truth, like that show, that movie. You can't handle the truth, and that is true. And it works with girlfriends and wives, significant others, and stuff. The same thing. You speak the truth, you will pay the price. With any relationships, anything like that. One thing that's really got me in the last, because like at work, I don't know if it's like this everywhere, but I'm sure it's not like this everywhere, but a lot of jobs are changing, people are changing, society's changing. People have devices a lot, and they're distracted by them at work, and people aren't doing their job, not only because of the devices, but they're just not doing their job. Nobody has any work ethic anymore. Nobody cares. So like they think showing up is just good enough, because in their mind nobody else is signing up for the job, so they're showing up, so in their minds they can do whatever they want basically and get away with it. And they're doing whatever they want, they're getting away with it. And you call things out at work, people, you become public enemy number one in the workplace, because you could be going in there doing the best you can, trying to stay upbeat, and you see something, people breaking the rules and stuff, you mention it. The management and stuff takes it as kind of an inconvenience that they have to, and then they turn it on you, and you're the one that gets in trouble for it, and you end up in an argument because you're trying to say, well, why isn't anything being done about this? Then they look at you as a boat rocker, and next thing you know, you find yourself in the manager's office and you're talking to the manager. So that can happen very quick at a job. I know from personal experience. I've been in trouble and all that, suspended and over just stupid stuff. And again, speaking the truth gets you in trouble. It's not an easy road to speak the truth. You have to be very strong and very strong-minded, and you can't waver, and you have to like draw a line and say, no, this is how I see it. This is the truth as I see it. It may not be the truth for everybody, but there's pointing out things that are wrong in your view and things that are factually wrong, and it doesn't matter anymore if it's factually wrong. The point is, you will pay the price for saying things. Now, basically, one of my biggest influences, I've been listening to him for years, I've been kind of not as much now, but I still do when I can. Clyde Lewis, Ground Zero, the show Ground Zero. Very truthful guy. I've learned a lot from him, and check that show out if you can. It's a great show. You do have to sign up to get like the real show and stuff, but you could still check it out on the radio and on different podcasts and stuff, paranormal podcasts and stuff. But he had a great quote that he was saying, and it was, the truth will set you free, but it will piss you off in the process. So it'll set you free, but it'll piss you off a lot, and it'll piss you off, the person that's telling the truth, and especially the people that you're telling the truth to. They will be pissed off at you, and I know that firsthand. I was talking about this earlier in a podcast, that I was very quiet growing up, a very quiet kid, and didn't speak my mind, I went along to get along, and I kind of came out of my shell again. Like, I've always thought a little differently and said some stuff here and there, but then like I just said, no, I'm not gonna be living in this silent lifestyle. I'm gonna talk and give my opinion, because it's no big deal. I'm not changing the world here. I'm just giving my opinion. I should be able to do that. I'm gonna make some enemies in the process and piss some people off, like the quote says, that Clyde Lewis said, and you will piss people off. So get ready for that. But it's part of telling the truth. You're gonna make some people mad when you tell the truth, and that's just the way it is. There's nothing you could do to stop that, to change that. That's just the way it is. Now, truth, basically speaking the truth, has real consequences. Okay? When you start calling things out and saying things that are against the mainstream narratives and what the government is saying and the media and everything, you start saying things that are contradicting what they're saying, you become a target very quickly. So basically, the government, I mean, look what they're doing. They're throwing millions and millions and millions. Like, they gave 70 million a few months ago to Ukraine, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, they're sending all this money, and one aspect, okay, if this is preventing World War III, then I guess it's good, but like, there's not a real proof that it is preventing World War III. I'm hoping that's what they're doing by doing this, but I mean, all this money thrown to Ukraine, when all the problems we have in this country, and the homeless, and everything they tell us about, the people that don't have food, and just like the housing situation in this country is getting really bad, and I mean really bad. All the federal rates hikes keep going up, houses going way up, all loans, cars, everything is just going off the charts. Unprecedented things happening, layoffs, closes, just like prices, inflation. You had the pandemic, all that money they were giving, all those benefits. Well, now we're seeing a blowback, and that's why we have, I heard this on a show the other day, I said, that makes perfect sense. All the money we were giving away with COVID and just throwing it out there like it was nothing. Well, now we see inflation and we see all these prices going up. Well, that's because all that artificial money that was being printed and given to all these benefits, and people that didn't have to pay their rent, and people that did this and did that. Well, now it's coming back to bite us, and it's not fun, and it's not a happy time here. Now, yeah. And, you know, I keep it real, okay? At this point in my life, I just turned 45, and even if you're not 45, if you're 25 or whatever, figure this out early, because you know, when you want to speak the truth like this, you have to, you know, you want to put yourself out there. Beware, because you're going to have a lot of people that are not going to be happy with you. You're going to make a lot of enemies, basically, you'll bring a lot of unnecessary drama to your life by doing this, by speaking the truth, but and attention to yourself, and just trust me on that. It's not going to be pretty. So basically, I know that I won't be making a ton of friends by just simply speaking the truth. That's all I'm doing. Now you could say, well, speak it in a way that's more nice or kinder or whatever. Well, sometimes the truth isn't kind. I mean, it's the truth. I mean, the truth hurts, and the truth will hurt you, the person that's telling the truth. You will be hurt in the process. You will be brought low. You will be, in a state of depression over it, a state of indecision and confusion. But this is the human basically the human way of things. You know, like, I'm here, I'm working, I should have a say. I should be able to say what I want. Freedom of speech. You know, there's nicer ways you could say things, but sometimes when the truth comes along, it's not a nice way to say it. You just have to say it, and it doesn't come out right all the time, but it's the truth, and you just have to deal with it, and that's just the way it is. Basically, yeah, I mean, and, you know, in the middle of this, like, epiphany about truth and everything that I've had recently, like, I really, after those years, the last 7 years and stuff, probably the last, I'd say, like, 3, maybe, you know, 3 years, I've really been just, like, compelled to speak the truth, and I make it like a thing. Like, I don't just jump into decisions. I don't care if they're small or large decisions. Each decision has a truth and, you know, a lie to it, and, like, I'm gonna go with the truth, because that's, like, why we're here. That's, like, God's thing for you. Like, all right, I give you a brain to decipher these things, to discern, as the Bible puts it, to discern good from evil and right from wrong and truth from the lies. Well, you use your brain, and you just, like, you think, all right, well, there's some questions here. I can ask these questions. Why can't I ask questions? What's so bad about that? Why can't I, you know, overthink a few things here? Why is that such a bad thing? I don't get why expanding your mind and your broadening your horizons and becoming more inclusive, becoming more let's talk about it, more communication and stuff. Okay, so Joe has some really deep-rooted truths about things and opinions that he really feels really strongly about. Does that make him a bad person? Now, to some people, yes, that makes me a bad person. But that's just my opinions, and why can't we talk about it and move on from there, and then maybe talk about something like a show or something on TV or something that was brought up wherever. I mean, we can go from one subject to another. We don't have to I can't talk to you because you called me out on this, or you told me how to do this, or put me in my place here, or whatever. Well, put me in my place. Let's have a debate. Let's talk. I mean, if you don't like my interpretation of the truth, let's hear your interpretation of the truth. Let's talk about it. And then, can we be friends after it's over? Do we have to hate each other? Which is such a stupid thing to do. Unless, the person is just, there's no reasoning with them. You shouldn't walk away from a conversation or an argument hating somebody unless, we're talking some real bad stuff. Now, basically, I'm not going to give this up. I mean, and, like I was saying, I think it was a couple months ago, in the middle of really thinking about this truth thing, I saw Arthur, the Aardvark show, and I just turned it on. It happened to be on, and it was in the middle of the episode talking about how you can't just say whatever pops into your head, and you have to say it in a nice way sometimes. But some of us aren't that endowed with linguistic skills where we can perfectly say things. So yes, I've said things that have been harsh and stupid and over the top, but that doesn't make me a bad person just because I said a few things that I believe. I mean, prove me wrong. Instead of just getting mad at me, let's talk about it, because obviously I feel strongly about it. So I'm sorry it's not something the world cares about, or TV or the media or something that's telling you to care about. It's the whole COVID thing. Well, before I was talking about how, basically, yeah, it could, when you couldn't say that it came from a lab leak in Wuhan, China, which our government was involved with gain of function and all these experiments they were doing on bats and stuff. Well, yeah. And now we find out that's true. But before, you're villainized and you're, told you're a complete lunatic and a liar. But then it comes out that it's true, and it's oh, whoa. It's just swept under the rug. Everybody forgets about it. Mask up. Mask up. Mask up. Well, now they tell us, the CDC announces they're back when they were relaxing all the COVID stuff, regulations and stuff. Well, now all of a sudden it's not a big deal, and the CDC says paper masks are basically useless when you told us to wear paper masks, and you told us to wear masks. You never said they weren't fine. And you said, yeah, use an N95. That came out after, but mask up. They weren't specific really. They just said mask up. So everybody started wearing the paper masks and stuff, and then some of the people had just the N95s, which is great, and then the CDC announces that they're useless, the paper masks that everybody has been wearing. Well, they have different levels of masks, like level 1, 2, and 3, or whatever, and the different, they allow less particles the higher the number. But the point is, you would be, if you said don't wear your mask before, or you said or questioned the mask thing at all, you are the enemy. Well, now they're saying, oh, well, take your mask off, you've been vaccinated. Well, the vaccinations have turned out to be a problem with the side effects and stuff. I mean, we got people that are deteriorating here. People that just a couple of years ago were fine, and now they're limping around and all these problems, and they look like hell. They look like they've aged like 10, 15 years, some of them. It's crazy. So, again, you say something, if I was to say something about the Ukraine war, giving all this money, I would immediately be ostracized and told I was un-American, not a patriot, anything that they can throw at you, crazy, and everything else. So yeah, basically, I will keep speaking the truth, okay? And I'll just deal with the repercussions, because that's just life, and you have to do that. It's not easy, I mean, to speak the truth and to uphold, really God's truth. And, like, he gives you this truth to use. It's a weapon. It's, words and stuff, like Eminem said, words are weapons. And they're weapons. But the thing is, like, they're necessary weapons, and we have to use them sometimes. And you have to just, if you want to, like, take a stand in this world and draw a line and say, no, this is what I believe, you shouldn't be doing this, that, or the other thing because of this reason. And then they say, well, who are you to tell me how to live my life and how to take care of my family and do this? And, well, I'm just an observer letting you know something, because what you're doing isn't working. So there's problems that need to be brought up. That's life, okay? So get used to it. So, again, I will keep speaking the truth and deal with the repercussions, okay? And basically, there are two kinds of people in this world, okay? Those who are afraid to speak the truth because of fear of reactions of other people, okay? From others, which I used to be. I used to be in that category, pretty much. Afraid to speak what I really believe in my heart, and just lay it on the line. And, I mean, we don't have that much time, and I don't have time to play games, and I know I'm not doing anything crazy, but, like, I'm just telling the truth, and I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I'm telling the truth. I don't know why it's such a big deal to tell the truth. And my truth may not be exactly lined up with your truth, but let's talk about it. Why do we have to, like, just because I come off and I don't agree with something, well, let's find out why I don't agree with it. Let's find out what you think. Then let's come together. Let's talk about it and come up with a compromise, or come up with, and if we can't, we can't. We shake hands and we say, all right, well, I'll see you around. You want to grab a beer or go hang out for a little while, catch a movie or show or something or whatever. I mean, they shouldn't divide you like this. in the past, you'd be able to have conversations and speak up with public people in public, family members, friends, and you could walk away and still be friends. It wouldn't be a big deal. And we need to go back to that. And getting back to the two people, and there's those people, like I said, that I used to be, that, you know, are afraid to speak, are afraid to speak up. And then there's those who do speak up, and thank God for them, and I'm one of them now, and I'm happy to be. It's not always rewarding. It can be very low. You can get low from this, but that is life. You have to get low. You have to go through these things. You can't go through life thinking everything is fine. Everything is not fine, okay? You have to use your brain, and like, they're telling you all this stuff. Just think what you think on it, and you live your life how you think. And then the truth that you think. Like, you don't have to do what they say just because, like, they're peer pressuring you into doing it, following a narrative. So yeah, that's basically it. And you know, there's truth, words, truth, opinions, they're all under attack right now in this country, in this world, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. If you say anything about anything these days that's going on that you don't agree with, you're automatically the bad guy. And they point the finger at you, and they say, you're intolerant, you're not treating people equally. Equity. They want equity. Everybody wins an award in school for the kids. They all win awards. Well, there was a story about kids that were performers that someone was talking about. A mother, and she said, well, my daughter came off stage, and she said, was I good? And all the parents were like talking to each other how she was just like so good, and she was singing, and her voice was beautiful, she was doing a great job. And there was different sketches they were doing. There was a comedy, a couple kids doing comedy, a couple other things, and some of them were just plain bad, just like really, really bad. And the problem is, everyone gets an award now. So the little girl didn't know. She literally didn't know if she was good. So she had to ask her mommy, how was I, mommy, or whatever. She didn't even know that she was good, even though these other kids were just terrible. And, you know, everybody knew that she had great talent, but you couldn't tell that to the other kids that were doing different things. You couldn't give them, you know, you could say it in a nice way, but you couldn't give them any constructive criticism, or, which is how the world works. When they get older, they're not going to be treated this way. Everyone doesn't get an award. Everyone doesn't get a promotion at work. Everyone doesn't, you know what I mean, get the same thing. So, like, that is not how the world works. So, I think it's sad that everybody gets an award now at school and stuff, because they're really messing up these kids' minds, and it's sad. It's really sad. And I feel very deep pain for our future, for the future of this country. The indoctrination of these kids, schools, institutions and schools are turning these kids into just like, as Rush Limbaugh used to say, I used to listen to a lot of talk radio in my 20s and stuff, especially. And I do a little bit still in podcasts and stuff, but brains full of mush. That's what that's what they're making in school. Kids with brains full of mush. So, basically, yeah, I mean, I will continue to speak the truth. As I said this before, till I have the last breath in my lungs, I will say the truth. You know, I'm not going to die and be put to death over it. I mean, there will be a point where I will keep my mouth shut to protect my own existence. But if it ever came to that, because in the future it's gonna come to that, and it might be, 25, 50 years from now. But the things you say, boy, whew, you are gonna be locked in jail. Things will be taken away from you. Your life, your reputation will be destroyed. Your house, everything will be stripped from you. Your job, and you will be blacklisted and canceled completely. And you won't know what to do. All because of what you said. Now, is that stupid? That's the most stupidest thing I've ever heard of. You have a constitution that says freedom of speech, okay? And this falls under freedom of speech. It protects speech that is uncomfortable and stuff that you don't agree with. And there's certain things I don't agree with that some of these people are saying, and they have the right to say it technically, but I don't agree with it. And I'll, things that I'll get in people's face about, if they want to get in my face, I'll get right back in their face. So anyway, the truth pisses a lot of people off, as it says, and but it's necessary. So I'll keep living my life the best I can, using God's tools that He gave me to stand up for the truth. So I'm going to leave it at that, and I hope everybody speaks the truth and to the best of their ability, and not afraid to do it, because as soon as we keep getting afraid to do it, then they silence us. No more freedom of speech. We'll be done, man. We'll be done. Thank you for joining me today. This is Joe Santiago signing off. Try to love one another. Enjoy your life. And as always, keep the faith. And peace out.